fastest show in sports.
By the time you see this, Lane Kiffin could still be the head football coach at Ole Miss. By the time you see this, Lane Kiffin might be the head coach at LSU. By the time you see this, Lane Kiffin just might be the coach of the Florida Gators. By the time you see this, Lane Kiffin could be an analyst on ESPN. Anything could happen. That's why as you watch this, it's a little tongue-in-cheek. Because moments ago, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss won the Egg Bowl. Huzzah! As if there was any doubt whatsoever that they would beat Mississippi State. Because they are the better school, the better program, the better coached football team. Yes, I know Mississippi State fans will be all upset at me. But you know that's exactly right. This comes, though, as everybody, the world awaits. We can't wait to know where Lane Kiffin is going to be in 2026. You know why? Because this has been one of the most entertaining clickbait rides along social media and every other form of media for the last few months. What in the hell are we going to do? I mean, once Lane Kiffin takes a new gig or stays at his current one, what are we going to do? We won't have anything to argue about. What are we going to do? Go back to arguing about Ohio State versus Michigan? Go back to arguing if Miami belongs to be ranked over Notre Dame? Go back to arguing if USC actually still plays college football? What are we going to do? Higgledy-piggledy, oh my goodness, everything is out of whack. Because we won't have Lane Kiffin to kick around anymore by the time you see this. But that's why I'm doing this right now, because there's a few things that need to be set straight in this whole Lane Kiffin issue. In the last several weeks, I have fielded more than 30,000 emails from people who have been lauding me and screaming at me over the things I've said about Lane Kiffin. It actually just depends on what school you go to. At the moment, do you go to Ole Miss, Florida, or LSU? And that pretty much tells me where it's coming from because it's based on what I say at any certain time. So let's set the record straight with all this. I never said, and if you have it, I want you to bring it up. I want you to find it, record it, play it back, send it to me. I have never said anything along these lines. Without question. Now, this is me saying it. This is not me really saying it. This is, okay, you get it, all right. I have never said Lane Kiffin is absolutely, positively, without question, going to be the head coach at the University of Florida in 2026. I have never said, never, that without question, without a doubt, Lane Kiffin is going to be the head football coach at Louisiana State University in 2026. And I have never said, you know where this is going. I have never said Lane Kiffin will definitely still be the head coach at Ole Miss in 2026. No. I've never said any of this. I have indicated what I thought my preferences were. See, this is not one of those clickbait shows where you're going to have me just come out and say insane things, Stephen Smith, just to get clickbait and just to get any kind of notice whatsoever. Social media. It's just not going to happen here. I don't do those kind of things. Now, if I knew it, I'd tell you, but I'm going to tell you right now, nobody has any clue. As I sit here right now in the shadow of Ole Miss winning the Egg Bowl over Mississippi State, I got no clue. I don't know. And neither do you. Neither does Paul Feinbaum. Neither does ESPN. Neither does Fox. Neither does anybody. Neither do any of the clickbait wackaloons that are sitting out there that are all over social media right now screaming that they know exactly what's going to happen. They haven't got a freaking clue. I'm only telling you what I think may happen and what my opinion is as to what will happen. That's the difference. So when I came out recently and said that I thought the best place for Lane Kiffin was going to be the University of Florida, that wasn't saying that he was going to take the job, but my opinion was at that time that if you want to win a national championship, if you really want to win one, the place that has the money, the boosters, the fans, the wherewithal, the program that will be the quickest route to a national championship, it's the University of Florida. That was my opinion. I said that. Go back and look at any of my shows. I may cut them up one day and put them up here for editing purposes just so everybody can see it, because that's what I said. I thought that his best shot, his quickest shot to win a national championship was at the University of Florida. I also said that I didn't think LSU was the right place for him for a number of reasons. My big reason not going to LSU, Lane, in case you're listening, I'll do a better interview with you than Pat McAfee will ever do. Trust me, we'll have a whole lot more fun. But I said that I wouldn't trust LSU because of the way they chased Brian Kelly out, because of the way they treated him, because of the way they tried to renege on his payment at the end. I wouldn't trust them. Why would I want to go to work for a place like that? Because every job becomes moot at one point. It's going to get terminated. Doesn't make a difference where you are, how long you've been there, how much of a legend you are. You're going to get fired sooner or later, or you're going to look for another job somewhere else for more money. It's just the way it happens. So it's not as if it's going to be a lifetime gig. I said that, in my opinion, if you want to win a national championship, you don't go to LSU, because the program is a higgledy-piggledy mess right now, because they're all up in arms, because they're absolutely a dumpster fire at this point. And it goes back to one of the things that goes back to what I said is, when you have a governor of a state, of the worst state in America. Now think about that for a moment. There is no place worse to live in America than Louisiana. I want you to take New Orleans and put it over here. I want you to take Baton Rouge and put it over here. And think about the state of Louisiana as a whole. I proved this. I had the stats. Louisiana is absolutely the worst place for the average person to live in the United States. And for a governor of that state to take time out and to start bitching and moaning and complaining about a college football coach, what the hell does that tell you about a place to live? And also, there's the whole inference of what's gone on there between the athletic director, the president. I wouldn't want to work there. That was my point. Now to Ole Miss. I said earlier in the week that winning or losing the Egg Bowl was not going to make a difference in Lane Kiffin's decision. And I stand by that. After the game, Lane Kiffin went on television in the traditional after-game quick interview, let's try and ask something relevant, and the coach basically throws out cliches. He was asked about his future at Ole Miss, and he said, I'm not worrying about that. I'm going to have to pray on that. I'm not quoting, but I'm going to have to pray on that for the next 24 hours. He's not praying. He knows exactly what he's going to do. He knows exactly what his first and his second choice is. So when Ole Miss came out and put him on record and said, you better make a decision by Saturday after the Egg Bowl, he didn't give a shit, because he's been in control. Lane Kiffin has run this whole process from day one, and he's kind of done a ham-handed job of it. Or sometimes you can tell that he's in control to figure out what he's doing. Other times, he's just being something of a goofball and not getting it right. But Lane doesn't have to pray. He knows what he's going to do. And one of the things I said, Ole Miss fans, in case you're wondering and in case you're listening, I said this out loud, that he might just stay at Ole Miss because he's a legend there right now. An 11-win season. A chance at a national championship. Are you kidding? The only chance that Ole Miss ever had at a national championship was somebody going out and scalping the tickets and buying it to go to the game. They had no other chance. This has always been a second, third, and fourth run franchise. It's like a pro thing. I get it, of course. And look, Ole Miss fans, don't whine me about this one, okay? Don't scream at me. Don't holler. Don't go off about how I'm denigrating you. I'm not doing it. I'm giving you the truth, the facts. It's never been a place where anybody, no one ever came to Ole Miss, at least not in my lifetime covering college football, where they said, I'm going to go to Ole Miss because I can win the SEC and I can win the national championship. No. Nobody ever said that, but they're saying it now. So it could be that it is the best place for him. Look, he's riding a high right now. He's the biggest, baddest thing in Ole Miss history. So for him to continue to take the job and they pay him a ton of money makes all the sense in the world. It does, because he's there. He's got it. And look, let's if we're going to be honest, let's throw another couple of honesty things out here about Lane Kiffin, okay? Being the head football coach at Ole Miss will be a hell of a lot easier, a hell of a lot less stroke-inducing, and a hell of a lot more productive than being the head football coach at Florida and LSU, because of the demands of the fans. Not the demands of the program, not the demands of the athletic director or the president or anybody else, but the demands of the fans and the big money boosters who are there, because they're the ones that run this show. They're the ones that make the decision. They're the ones that have been completely behind the decisions the last 4 times to bring in what amounted to average coaches at best. They've been behind it. Let's try something new. Let's do this. Here's the next wunderkind that we're going to bring in here. And of course, Billy Napier was the last one. They're the ones in charge. LSU, it's the same thing. The big money boosters are the ones that are in charge there. They are at every big school. Michigan, Ohio State, Miami, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, any place you want to go ahead and mention. The boosters are the ones that are in control there. And by staying head coach at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin is on cruise control. I mean, especially after the 2025 season. He's got them in his pocket for at least the next 2 seasons, maybe more. And to the point of the boosters, Lane Kiffin, simply by getting to the college football playoff, and they got to put him in the playoff. Come on, let's stop the nonsense here, okay? I mean, they're worthy of being there. They've proven it. But for them being in the national championship hunt at this time, they've proven what a good program they are, that they deserve to be there, that they deserve to be in the conversation. And that means players are going to want to come to Ole Miss. Again, because of the era of NIL, because of the era of transfer portals, because of the era of where players are getting paid to play, you don't want to go to Ole Miss if you don't have a chance to A, make a lot of money, B, win a championship, C, make a lot of money, D, get a good NIL deal, E, number 5, E or 5, make a lot of money. That's what a lot of the big name players are in it for. And they're not going to go to a program where they don't think they can win the championship. And right now you have to question, because of the past histories, recent past histories, are those players, the big name players who are willing to sign on, do they think their best chance is to win a national championship in Gainesville with the Gators? Do they think it's the best chance to go to Baton Rouge and win it with the Tigers? I don't think so. Those are 2 programs right now that have a whole lot of help, and they got a whole lot of things to fix. I mean, they got to make sure that they're not the next ones to throw some lighter fluid on it and become the next dumpster fire. Because if players are going to look at, not only players, but again, this comes down to coaches as well. Coaches and players are going to look at where they want to go because they want to make money and they want to win a championship. Florida has got the wherewithal to do it. They've got the history behind it. But the last 4 coaches they brought in have done little to nothing and have basically made Florida football a bit of a mockery. I mean, there was a time when you would mention SEC football and the Gators are right up there in the top 2 or 3. Florida, Georgia, see, this is my era. Florida, Georgia, LSU. Those are the 3 teams. You got in there, you got a chance to win the championship. LSU is a 4th maybe. Come on, I know you LSU people are all going to be unhappy with me now. This is not personal. This is about college football. But when they look at it now, with Kiffin creating something new and having the university behind him and having the players behind him, and if they contend for a national championship this year, there's going to be players who want to get involved and they want to put them over the top. When they look at the Florida Gators, they're going to say, okay, and we still don't know who's going to be the coach there. Well, that might take 2 or 3 years, and that's my career. Same thing with LSU. That might take 2, 3 years. That's my career. I'm not going to get a shot there, but I can get a better shot at Ole Miss. See, it's all the balance of thinking at this point. And Kiffin may have the best chance at Ole Miss because he doesn't have to put up with the nonsense and the bullshit that go on in Gainesville and Baton Rouge. And again, I'm going to say this again, and it's going to get lost in the show here. This is not personal. I hear from a friend of mine up in Gainesville that the last couple of weeks, my shows have been played tens of thousands of times up there because people were hearing me say that Florida would be the best chance for Lane Kiffin to win a national championship. I still believe that at this time, but Florida is now going to have to go searching again. And that brings up another ball of wax. The Florida Gators are going to go out looking for another head coach. If Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss or if he goes to LSU, whatever it is, they're out. And as a matter of fact, did you see what was really interesting? How during the ESPN broadcast of the Egg Bowl between Ole Miss and Mississippi State, ESPN ran a crawl underneath it, said, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, said ESPN sources tell us that the University of Florida has moved on from Lane Kiffin. He's no longer a consideration to be the coach. Of course they do that during the game. Because ESPN is all about marketing, clickbait, and everything to drive attention to eyeballs at ESPN. 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's what they're all about. Now, is ESPN correct? There's a good chance. I mean, you have to remember ESPN is in bed with the college football conferences and with college football. They pay a tremendous amount of money to get those games. I mean, the mouse has got, Disney has got all this wrapped up. They're paying hundreds of millions of dollars. So they've got to have wherewithal. They've got to have connections. They've got to have sources tell them. Sources tell me. Because they're all in bed together. So it's very likely that any news that would come out would come from ESPN first. And of course they do it during the game because that's where all the eyeballs are. So it makes a tremendous amount of sense. But it also speaks to the University of Florida now because their athletic director has got to go out and find a coach. And if he brings in another one of the four horsemen of the non-apocalypse here that have come in recently and done nothing for Florida Gators to advance them in the national championship conversation, he's out. Actually, we're going to move on. Because once Lane Kiffin is all decided, the Florida Gators and LSU are going to become the sideshow. And the Gators are going to become maybe the best sideshow out of it all. Because if they screw up again, they're going to clean house. They got to bring somebody in. Yeah, I know LSU is going to say the same thing. But believe me, I know the backgrounds here. The Gators are going to be the big one. Because if this fails again, there's going to be an uprising. There's going to be an insurrection in Gainesville. You won't be able to stop it. They'll be running people out of town on a rail. If they can't compete now, especially after the Billy Napier years. So the wheels here are hysterical fun to watch between all these teams, between these three teams. And then who Florida brings in next, who LSU brings in next, because my best guess sitting here right now, I won't give you the time, but I'm sitting here right now, is that Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss. Doesn't have to clean out his office, doesn't have to move his family. His family can still, with the money he's going to make, he can buy a home in Florida and in Louisiana and own one in Ole Miss. He can have a vacation home on the Ritz. You know, he can put one in Monte Carlo if he wants. He's going to have so much money. So it doesn't make a difference. His family can go wherever they want. He can set them up. But Ole Miss is the best choice right now for Lane Kiffin. I know it. I'm going to hear it all over the place. We're going, oh, listen to Berliner here. He's backing up on his prediction. I didn't make a prediction. I don't make predictions. You know why? I suck at predictions. I'm the first one to tell you that. If I tell you to go out and bet blue, bet green. It's going to be your best chance. I mean, now, if you want to sit me down at a blackjack table, different story. If you want to sit me down and play baccarat, different story. Craps, different story. But on the betting side of things, I tell people all the time, don't bet with me. But I'm just giving you what I consider is the best opinion at this time of what we know. We're going to know more in the next 24 hours. We're going to go back and do this again. But we all just need to sit back and watch, because holy shit in the morning, the next couple of days are going to be fun.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.